here for a couple hours. Get comfortable. Bring the best libs that Utah has to offer.
Those were among the last public words Charlie Kirk ever spoke. Charlie Kirk was not supposed to be here. A pivotal rejection from West Point at age 18 sent him down a different road entirely. He did not go to a prestigious university. He did not follow a conventional political career path. Instead, in June 2012, at 18 years old, he co-founded Turning Point USA, a grassroots organization built to do what no major conservative institution had seriously attempted.
I actually kind of disagree with you guys a little bit on the process like free market capitalism. I think that Tucker Carlson probably has the best critiques of the free market.
The idea that the government must be the only one that does public infrastructure projects is absurd. And kind of what is the free market for those that might have never heard it before? Essentially, a free market is allowing and empowering the individual to buy what you want to buy, sell what you want to sell without intrusive government interference. Hello, nice to meet you. None of your business.
Thank you, I appreciate it. So, do you love America?
Yes, I do.
I hate America. Every state in the USA should be an independent country. What do you think of this?
Well, I just first have to ask, since you hate the country, do you plan to leave?
What do you mean by that?
Do you plan to go live in another country?
No, I do not.
Let me tell you something.
Your face is an idiot.
America is the only country where even those who hate it refuse to leave. That's how you know you live in a great country.
Go directly onto college campuses, sit down with students who disagreed with him, and argue for free markets, limited government, and individual liberty on their own ground. He was 22 when he became the youngest speaker at the 2016 Republican National Convention. He was 28 when he backed J.D. Vance's long-shot Senate campaign, and 2 years later became a key voice in Trump's decision to select Vance as his vice presidential running mate. He was a close ally of President Donald Trump. He hosted the Charlie Kirk Show, one of the most listened-to conservative podcasts in the country. But what defined Charlie Kirk? What made him dangerous to his opponents and galvanizing to his supporters was not the organization or the follower count.
Freedom is not sustainable if you remove religion. And I'll be even more specific. Freedom is not sustainable if you remove Christianity. Eventually it will implode. Eventually you will be ruled simply by your senses. You'll be ruled simply by your consciousness.
That's
I'm
right.
a big lover of reason. I think
It was the words. Sharp, confrontational, built for argument. Lines that invited disagreement because he believed disagreement was the point.
You know how many mass shootings there have been in America over the last 10 years? Counting or not counting gang violence?
20 minutes into his debate, mid-sentence, a single rifle bullet, fired from a rooftop 142 yards away, struck Charlie Kirk in the neck. He was 31 years old. He was rushed to Timpanogos Regional Hospital. He was pronounced dead within hours. The tent stayed standing. Yellow police tape went up around it. Red and white hats sat stacked neatly on the table. 2 Starbucks cups, tea bags still in, never finished. A microphone on the ground. And at the center of the tent, a single chair, overturned. September 10th, 2025. The political assassination of one of the most influential conservative voices of his generation. On a college campus, in the middle of a debate, in front of 3,000 witnesses. This documentary examines that event as a political assassination. Through 3 criminological themes, each one grounded in the evidence, the testimony, and the words of the people most directly shaped by what happened in that courtyard. Charlie Kirk's assassination did not arrive without warning. It arrived as the latest entry in a sequence that had been building, loudly, visibly, and without adequate structural response, for years. In July 2024, a gunman positioned on a rooftop at a campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, opened fire on then-candidate Donald Trump. A bullet grazed Trump's ear. A supporter behind him was killed. The shooter was neutralized within seconds. The country was shaken and moved on within weeks. 3 months later, a second attempt on Trump's life was foiled at his Florida golf course. Ryan Wesley Routh had positioned himself in tree line for hours before Secret Service agents spotted a rifle barrel in the shrubbery. He fled. He was arrested. The country absorbed it and moved on. In December 2024, Luigi Mangione walked up to United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson on a Manhattan sidewalk and shot him dead. The alleged motive: fury at corporate healthcare. Within days, Mangione had become what terrorism specialist Bruce Hoffman of Georgetown University called a folk hero. A musical about him opened in San Francisco the following year. Every performance sold out immediately. Charlie Kirk was shot at 12:23 in the afternoon. His assassination transformed a political event into a national tragedy and ignited urgent conversations about the rise of political violence in the United States. Political violence is no longer a distant chapter in American history. It has become a growing threat fueled by polarization, online extremism, and the increasing demonization of political opponents. Across television screens, social media platforms, and campaign rallies, Americans are surrounded by rhetoric designed not to encourage understanding, but to provoke outrage. In this environment, disagreement becomes hostility, and hostility can become violence. As the nation mourned, President Donald Trump addressed the country with anger and grief, declaring,
"Filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah. It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible. For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now."
The suspect had not yet been arrested. The motive had not yet been established. The investigation was 6 hours old. And yet, radical left, directly responsible, terrorism. Those words, from the President of the United States, on the night of the killing, became the lens through which this assassination would be interpreted by half the country. They were entered into the permanent public record of this case before a single forensic report had been written. From across the political spectrum, responses came within hours. They were united in condemning the killing. They were divided on everything else. Former President Barack Obama wrote on his social media account, "We don't yet know what motivated the person who shot and killed Charlie Kirk, but this kind of despicable violence has no place in our democracy. Michelle and I will be praying for Charlie's family tonight, especially his wife Erica and their 2 young children." Obama's statement reminded Americans that democracy cannot survive through hatred, fear, and revenge. It survives through peaceful dialogue, accountability, and respect for human life.
This is a dark day for our state. It's a tragic day for our nation. And I want to be very clear that this is a political assassination. And when someone takes the life of a person because of their ideas or their ideals, then that very constitutional foundation is threatened. Now, we have a person of interest in custody. The investigation is ongoing. But I want to make it crystal clear right now, to whoever did this, we will find you. We will try you. And we will hold you accountable to the furthest extent of the law. And I just want to remind people that we still have the death penalty here in the state of Utah.
Utah's governor condemned the assassination as an attack on democracy itself and emphasized accountability and severe punishment, including the possibility of the death penalty if justified under the law. Yet the tragedy revealed a deeper national crisis that punishment alone cannot solve. Political violence begins long before bullets are fired. It begins when citizens stop listening to one another, when political opponents are treated as enemies, and when rage becomes more powerful than reason. The assassination of Charlie Kirk stands as a warning to America. A democracy built on free speech and open debate cannot survive if violence becomes part of political expression. The future of the nation now depends on whether Americans choose unity over division and dialogue over hatred.
When people stop talking, really bad stuff starts. When you stop having a human connection with someone you disagree with, it becomes a lot easier to want to commit violence against that group. What we as a culture have to get back to is being able to have a reasonable disagreement where violence is not an option.
He was right. He was also killed mid-sentence.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We got him.
At 8:05 on the morning of September 10th, Tyler James Robinson solved the daily Wordle puzzle in 3 attempts. He sent his score to a friend with a celebratory meme. They joked back and forth. By that point, prosecutors allege he had already driven 3 hours in the dark from his home in southern Utah. He was already on the campus of Utah Valley University. He was already in position on that rooftop. He was 22 years old. Take a moment with that. He played a word game, sent a joke to a friend, and waited. Tyler Robinson was not supposed to look dangerous. And that is precisely what makes this case one of the most important criminological profiles of its generation. He was described by relatives as a squeaky clean, considerate kid. He was an honor roll student who scored in the 99th percentile nationally on standardized tests. His grandmother called him the shyest person she had ever known. He had briefly enrolled at Utah State University. He worked. He lived quietly. He had never been arrested. By every conventional metric, every checklist that a threat analyst, a school counselor, or a law enforcement officer is trained to apply, Tyler Robinson was not a person of concern. But in the 12 months before September 10th, something was shifting. His mother told investigators that Robinson had grown more politically engaged over the previous year. More focused on LGBTQ rights, more willing to challenge his conservative family. He was in a romantic relationship with a biological male undergoing gender transition. That partner cooperated fully with investigators. The partner had no warning.
Friends that have confirmed that there was kind of that deep, dark internet, the Reddit culture, and these other dark places of the internet where this person was going deep, and you saw that on the casings. I think I didn't have any idea what those inscriptions, many of those inscriptions even meant.
Inscriptions on the 3 unfired casings read, "Hey fascist!" exclamation point, "Catch!" exclamation point. Up arrow symbol, right arrow and symbol, and 3 down arrow symbols. A second unfired casing read, "Oh Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Bella Chow, Chow Chow." And a third unfired casing read, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO." I will leave that up to you to interpret what those engravings mean. I think the clearest one that says "Catch fast."
Robinson did not simply load a rifle and drive to Utah Valley University. He engraved the bullet casings he brought with him. One read, "Hey fascist, catch," alongside arrow symbols that extremism researchers identified as a meme from the online video game Helldivers 2, where the same sequence is used to accidentally eliminate your own teammate with friendly fire. Another casing referenced Bella Ciao, an Italian partisan anthem repurposed across online communities simultaneously as an anti-fascist symbol and as an ironic meme, deployed by users across the entire political spectrum without fixed ideological meaning. He left those casings at the scene, deliberately, where investigators would find them. He sent Discord messages after the shooting claiming his doppelganger had committed the killing, and noted he should get rid of this manifesto. He left a handwritten note for his romantic partner. Prosecutors described that note as a written confession. And yet, critically, the manifesto never named Charlie Kirk as a target. Tyler Robinson was not recruited by an organization. He was not guided by a doctrine. There is no evidence in the charging documents connecting him to Antifa, to any organized left-wing group, or to any network of any kind. Despite the intensity of the political response labeling him a radical leftist, his background immediately complicated that narrative. His parents were Republicans, and his voter registration listed him as unaffiliated. What the evidence suggests is a young man who absorbed a deeply personal grievance, his partner's lived experience under rhetoric he associated with Kirk, and then expressed that grievance in the only language his cultural world had given him for it. Not a doctrine, not a manifesto with named targets. Memes on bullet casings. A word game on his phone. A 3-hour drive in the dark. If this documentary made you think, if it unsettled you, challenged you, or left you with questions you didn't have before, then it did exactly what it was supposed to do. Subscribe to stay with us, because the conversations this case demands are not finished, and neither are we. Drop a comment below. Tell us where you agree, where you push back, and what we missed. That argument, right there in the comments section, is exactly what Charlie Kirk believed in. Like this video if you think these questions deserve a wider audience, and share it with someone who would disagree with you about it. Not someone who thinks the same way you do, someone who doesn't. Because if this case taught us anything, it's that the alternative to talking is something none of us can afford.